Everybody, welcome to Saratoga Racecourse in Saratoga Springs, New York. You can hear the bugle. The horses are coming out. The excitement is palpable. It is great. Kip Keefer here welcoming you to the starting lineup. And if we're at Saratoga, you're at Saratoga because the races are just getting underway. This isn't just an event. This is an absolute experience coming to the oldest and most historic racetrack in all of America. So we're glad you're with us. We're going to have a great show for you here on the starting lineup. Going to start talking about the college football season right around the corner. You hear Frank Maramati, the racetrack announcer, as the horses are coming out. This is a happening every day that they have racing. All the best horses, all the best riders, all the best trainers. It's like the all-star game for 8 consecutive weeks every racing day. It's awesome to be here. We're glad you're on board with the Saratoga edition of this week's starting lineup. I'd like to thank my volunteer camera person who's doing a great job, and we are going to get the show underway. We'll have Tony Curry with Bone Fragments. We'll have Case Keefer coming along with my other son, Clayton Keefer, for the 3 keys, and we'll also wrap it up a little bit later on from here at Saratoga. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. It's time for the starting lineup.
Welcome to this week's Agent Confidential Buyout Island Index. At number 5, a new entry, up 4 spots, Josh Heupel, Tennessee. Heupel has had success, but expectations on Rocky Top are sky high. Another good year may not be good enough. Number 4, Shane Beamer, South Carolina. He's set up for a solid season, but the leash is short. The Gamecocks need to show they are moving forward. Number 3, Luke Fickell, Wisconsin. Success is a must this year for the head Badger. The patience in Madison is running thin. Number 2, down 1 spot, Mike Norvell, Florida State. The pressure remains to get Florida State back to the expectations of the Seminole faithful. And number 1, new to the index, Bill Belichick, North Carolina. The dumpster fire continues in Chapel Hill, and the NFL experiment looks headed for a divorce. That's this week's Agent Confidential Buyout Island Index. I'm Mike Chaudron. See you next week.
Back here at Saratoga, this is the program for today as the races are underway for another exciting afternoon at the place to be in the upstate New York area. A Saratoga day at the races, nothing like it. And speaking of that, we mentioned in the open, Sovereignty, the champion from the Derby in Belmont last year, winner of the big Travers Stakes here as well. He was back in action just a couple of days ago on this very racetrack, and the results were devastating. Here it is, the 2026 Whitney Stakes, his first big test as a 4-year-old after being the overwhelming 3-year-old champion. And I think you will agree with me after watching this, he passed that test with flying colors.
And they're off in the Whitney. And Baeza broke slowly once again. Nitrogen broke beautifully and goes straight to the front. On the inside, there's room for Magnitude, who most expected to be on the front end, and there he goes, Magnitude to the front. Nitrogen counters, and those two are heads apart. Antiquarian comes away in third. Whiteabario is fourth with 5 lengths to make up. It's a gap of 5 back to Sovereignty. Then the 2 trailers, Tiztastic and Baeza. 23-2 for the opening quarter mile. And it is the filly Nitrogen taking command and leading over Antiquarian. Magnitude is suddenly back to third, joined by Whiteabario. Those two stride for stride. It's a gap of 10 lengths to Baeza, Tiztastic, and now Sovereignty is last. The half in 46-1. Nitrogen takes them into the far turn with Antiquarian pressing the issue now. He's within a neck of her. Whiteabario third. Magnitude is just losing ground. He's being pushed along, and now 6 lengths off the pace. Baeza is starting to pick it up. He is racing on the inside of sovereignty. And sovereignty is starting to come with a big bid through three quarters in 109 and 3. They're at the top of the stretch. Nitrogen with a 3-length lead. Sovereignty bearing down in the middle of the racetrack and coming at her. And Sovereignty with a devastating stretch kick has taken control of the Whitney. Nitrogen, Antiquarian, and all the others left in the wake of Sovereignty, who's back on top, strolling in to win the Whitney by over 5 lengths. The battle for second between Nitrogen and Antiquarian.
Welcome back to the Birmingham Racecourse and Casino starting lineup. I am Tony Curry. It's time for Bone Fragments, or also known as the best 5 minutes in television. I've been to radio since I was 12 years old. Not so much this TV thing, although I'm loving this TV thing. It's fantastic. But I've been to radio for a long time. I've been on stage in front of 80,000 people. I brought Bruce Springsteen on stage. I brought Madonna on stage. I've met Michael Jackson. I've done all those things, right? And now I'm moving on to the next phase of my career, and that is, thanks to Kip Keefer and, of course, the starting lineup, is this television gig, and I got it. And so I've been given 5 minutes every single week, so I thought we're always trying to do the best on this TV show. The starting lineup is always the best of the best of the best, so why should we get you on to be part of the best 5 minutes of television? We're going to start it come college football season, which is 2 weeks from today. So whether you're the best Toy Story, whether you're the best betting site, you're the best Mexican restaurant, you're the best dentist, you're the best lawyer, the best mechanic, maybe you're the best non-for-profit, maybe you're the best orthopedic doctor, maybe you're the best restaurant, the best roofer, whatever you are, if you think you're the best, I want you to look at the bottom of the screen. I want you to call me, 205-542-1848. That is my personal cell phone number. That's it. I don't have a jackass phone. I have one phone. Everything's coming here. 205-542-1848. Leave me a message. And if you think you're the best, say, moving company, or the best sports bar, or best athletic place, whatever it is, if you think you're the best of the best here in Birmingham or surrounding areas, phone up, and I'm going to give you a chance to be on the Birmingham Racecourse and Casino starting lineup. How many people out there watch this show every single week from 10:30, 11 o'clock, button up against the SEC on ABC Game of the Week? It's going to be Alabama, East Carolina, by the way, this next couple of weeks. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I'd love to be on that TV show. I'd love to be on television. Man, I mean, radio is great, but man, I'd love to be seen. I'd love to be on with Tone the Bone on ABC 3340. I'd like to be there on Saturday mornings. This is your shot. This is your chance. I'm going to give everyone a shot. And by doing this, you'll be part of Birmingham's best 5 minutes of television, period, because the best 5 minutes is in the best 30-minute show known as the starting lineup, thanks to Birmingham Racecourse and Casino. It doesn't matter what you do. Maybe you're the best bank. Maybe you're the best grocery store. Maybe you have the best podcast. Again, I'm all about giving back to charity. Maybe you have a great non-for-profit. If you have a wonderful church that you want to talk about and say, listen, I think we have the best church here. You can be part of it. All you got to do is call me, 205-542-1848, 205-542-1848. Better yet, text me. I love text because that way I'm going to get a bunch of phone calls here. I'm going to have to return some phone calls, but text me 205-542-1848 or email me at tonyjcurry@gmail.com. That's tonyjcurry@gmail.com. Now, coming up in a couple of weeks, everything's going to be the best of. We're going to have the best of 5minutes.com, the best of 5 minutes on Twitter, the best of 5 minutes here in the starting lineup, the best of everything. So we are here to give you not only the best coverage of college football, which we do every single Saturday, and I'm so doggone excited. About 2 weeks from today, it's going to be unbelievable. Auburn, Alabama, UAB's got a new coach. It's going to be a great season. I can't wait for it to start. We're going to be doing all that. So if we're giving you the best college football and the best college football teams, you might as well be part of the best 5 minutes in television. And now you can do it on the ABC 3340. Special thanks, of course, to Jared, Kip Keefer, the entire crew here at ABC 3340 for allowing me the opportunity to not only talk on this wonderful stick, but also bring in the best of Birmingham. If you think your business is the best of Birmingham, are you the best roofer? Are you the best delivery system? Are you the best dentist? Whatever it is, the best doctor? Give me a call, 205-542-1848 or tonyjcurry@gmail.com and be part of the best 5 minutes in television right here on ABC 3340.
Welcome back, everybody, on the starting lineup. Kip Keefer here on a special segment because we've got real bona fide experts ready to bring you the next bit of information as we get excited for college football 2026. And they're all experts because they all have the same last name: Kip Keefer, Case Keefer, Clayton Keefer. It's the three keys. We're teaming up. I think, fellas, this is the first time we've done a media segment since way back when I was doing news talk. Who was the insane genius guy in Alabama on Serial, the podcast? I think that's the last time we teamed up for a show like this.
Yeah. I was waiting for Clay to talk. I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember the podcast. It was very well done, and I'm sure people still remember. But God, I just purge information so fast now. I can't remember the guy's name, but I could tell you the premise of the podcast, and it was strong. That was probably the last time.
Yeah, the podcast was S-Town, but I can't remember the guy's name either. I'm thinking, I mean, that all went down while I was in Tuscaloosa for school, but yeah, I never met the guy, obviously, but yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's exciting for me to have you guys on, and we're going to talk college football. And I specifically, because, we air in Birmingham and there's a lot of interest elsewhere, but have not really spent a lot of time specifically on Alabama and Auburn, which for most of our audience is the primary focus of a football season coming up in just a couple of weeks, and it'll be here before we know it. I'm coming to you today from Saratoga Springs, New York, actually Albany, New York. I'm actually at the airport as we put together this segment. So when you're in travel mode in the off season, you got to just put the shows together when you can. So Case is coming to us, of course, from Las Vegas. Clayton is in Birmingham, and we're going to talk some Alabama and Auburn football. I know for different reasons, you guys don't really focus a lot on the off-season stuff. People like me who are on every week doing shows, we're getting caught up in all the headlines. But I know you both are aware, and it's kind of surprising to me that a guy that's seemingly not a controversial sort of person at all, Kalen DeBoer, has been a firestorm of criticism and critique and speculation during this offseason. And Clayton, I want to start with you because I don't think I've ever specifically asked you this question. Clayton is an Alabama graduate, a huge Tide fan, kind of lives and dies every Saturday with what Alabama's doing. But what is in the first 2 years of the Kalen DeBoer administration, what is kind of your take on him? Are you confident going forward, or are you concerned like so many other Alabama fans seem to be?
Well, I mean, it's so easy to be concerned just coming off the era that we, came off of with Nick Saban, arguably the greatest run in college football history. So it's really easy to get worried and think, oh no, the sky's falling. And, that might be the case. 2 years is not a long enough time to really know. So it also might not be the case. I'm excited to see what happens this season. I'm trying to hold reserve judgment. I think that DeBoer is one of the best hires that Alabama could have hired when they did. So there's really nothing we could do, regardless if he's turns out to be a great coach or a terrible coach. Obviously, some things have been baffling the last couple of years, but there's been some highlights too. So it's really tough to say where the Kalen DeBoer era is going. Obviously, there's a lot of doom and gloom, but I try not to do that. And as for controversies, I mean, Nick Saban had controversies almost every offseason too.
That's
the only
true.
difference was that he was winning championships. So like, even though he said something that was controversial or people were like, oh man, Nick Saban, he's, that was not a nice thing to say. They couldn't really say much because at worst, he won 10 games or whatever. So I think that's the difference in the controversies. I don't put much into anything that Kalen DeBoer has said and people get all up in arms about. So I just let it ride. And like you said, I don't follow much during the off season. I've got other sports to watch. So I'll make my judgment based on how Alabama plays on the field this season.
Case, you've been a DeBoer guy from pretty much the beginning. You got on board when he was at Washington, particularly, but even earlier than that, Fresno State. Yeah. So what's your take on, are you surprised that DeBoer's under this much scrutiny?
I wouldn't say surprised, but do I think it's overblown? Absolutely. I mean, he's not even like he's had two bad seasons. I know the expectations are just sky high at Alabama, but this was going to be an impossible task for anyone to succeed Saban, especially at the time they were coming in. I mean, Nick Saban is not an idiot. He left at the time he did for a reason. I mean, now you look at, we have pretty good insight into program budgets, NIL budgets. Alabama right now is like fringe top 10. It's a lot different than before NIL age. DeBoer's facing challenges that Saban never had at Alabama, in my opinion, and I don't think he's done a terrible job. I know that's blasphemy there that they have much higher expectations. I trust in Kalen DeBoer as a coach. I mean, right now there's no way there's 10 coaches I would take over him. If you're having me ask, I have to have a coach to win a game tomorrow. Are there 5 coaches I'm taking over him in college football? Maybe. I mean, it's somewhere in that range. So there's no doubt in my mind he's a great coach. Is he a great coach for Alabama? Is it the right fit culturally? I think you can make kind of a better case there that maybe it just wasn't the right place for him. Obviously, no ties to the South. I don't think he knew fully what he was walking into. So if this doesn't work out, I think it's going to be more of just the culture fit, the marriage, than it is a referendum on DeBoer as a coach. I still think he's a very good coach. And I think with just the talent that they've had, they have not gone above what you would expect. But I think you look at the state of college football right now, they've kind of met expectations. Now, obviously, you need to be better than that at Alabama, and he'll have another chance this year. But I'm not as concerned about him as it seems like most other people are.
With all that being said, for me, it always comes down this time of year. All the speculation is just that, and it's guesswork, especially in this era. I look at the schedule, and I look at Alabama's schedule, and I think it's pretty favorable this year. Their first 5 games all are seemingly winnable. They'll be favored in all of them. But there are a couple of them that, you could have a stumble. But then they get into that middle season 4-game swing where they play Georgia in Tuscaloosa, they play at Tennessee, they play Texas A&M in Tuscaloosa, and then they go to LSU before finishing up with seemingly manageable last games in the sequence, concluding, of course, with the Iron Bowl against Auburn. So it's pretty critical. They've got games at Kentucky in week 2, which is an SEC road game for their first game of the year, which has not been a good thing for Alabama lately as far as being on the road early in the year. Then they got South Carolina coming in to Tuscaloosa. And of course, they've got Florida State, who pulled the shocker last year. Do you think it's essential? And this is an obvious question, but they need to get off to a really good start before that tough part of the schedule. But I don't see this team doing any worse in my mind than 9-3.
Think that it really depends on the beginning of the schedule. I mean, I guess last year they stumbled in week 1 and ended up having an okay year record wise for Alabama standards. I guess it's a bad year, but I'm looking at the schedule now. I mean, I think that. I think 9-3 is probably a good guess. But I mean, if they stumble early, if they lose to Kentucky or God forbid lose to Florida State again, I mean, losing to Kentucky would be arguably worse, but I mean, or South Carolina, I mean, any of those first few games, they could easily then spiral, I think, and lose 2 or 3 of the 4-game stretch you were talking about. I mean, there's some talks about Auburn. I'm glad that game's in Tuscaloosa. I mean, there's even a chance they drop that. That would be a total disaster. If you lose to Auburn in Tuscaloosa, I will even be upset, whereas I'm pretty mild-mannered when it comes to Alabama fans. I mean, I think they could stumble. I think most likely, though, I would say what you said, 9-3, hopefully 10-2 is probably what we're looking at. I mean, there's also a possibility that they are way better than people think, and they win all 4 of those tough games. So I mean, who knows? I know they had a really good stretch last year, where they won a couple of games, Georgia specifically, that they weren't probably supposed to, especially if you look at the end of the year, they definitely weren't supposed to, but losing to teams like Florida State. So, it's tough to say, I guess.
Case in that early 5-game sequence, and let's qualify, because we've certainly identified Case many times under this criteria. Case really doesn't get emotionally involved in these matchups. He is a data and numbers guy. But, at Kentucky early in the year and then South Carolina, I think the addition of Kendall Briles as the offensive coordinator is a big step forward for the Gamecocks. They've got Lenora Sellers back. They got Harbor, the great receiver, and Stewart, the defensive lineman, is going to be a top 10 NFL pick probably. Do you think either of those games are possible trouble spots before that tough stretch in the schedule?
Yeah, I'm very high on South Carolina. So if I had to pick one, I actually would say that one, even though it's at home. However, I did say when I was on with you when I was down in Alabama, I still agree. I fully expect this team to start 5-0, and if they don't start 5-0, then I think that some of the criticism can be can be merited. You have to start asking questions. I just think this is such a great setup for them to get some confidence under their belt to get off to a good start. I will say I disagree with Clayton on one thing. I think the game at Kentucky would be a lot worse. I think that would be one that that would be a better loss than hosting Florida State. They're like a 16-point favorite against Florida State right now. Florida State looks not very good on paper. We know the road struggles. There's not a line on Alabama, Kentucky right now, but I'd make that probably around like 10.5 or 11. So I'd say that game's a more likely tripping spot of those two. But I fully expect Alabama to take care of business. If I had to say they lose one, just that I'm higher on South Carolina than consensus, it would be that one. But I think they're 5-0 going into the Georgia game. And, I'm always the guy banging the table that we just overreact to small samples too much. It was only a few months ago where we were hearing Alabama owns Georgia. This team always beats Georgia, no problem. Yeah, they got blown out in the SEC championship game, and now it's totally flipped. I was like wearing a Georgia thing the other day, and some Alabama fan comes up to us, "Oh, we have no chance in that game. Florida State gets crushed." I mean, that's another game that's going to kind of be a coin flip. So I'm a little bit higher on Alabama than consensus as well. I fully expect them to start 5-0, and I wouldn't even be shocked if they're 6-0.
Let's talk about Auburn now with the news coach Alex Golesh. It's Clayton's favorite subject. He's a big Auburn guy. Ha ha. But from a schedule standpoint, these teams are kind of similar because after Auburn gets underway with Baylor and Southern Miss and some teams like that, they do have Florida in week 3 at Auburn, which I think is a really intriguing game, probably pivotal for both of those teams, particularly with the coaching coincidences. John Summerall, of course, was rumored to be going to Auburn, ends up at Florida. Now he's coming to Auburn, but he's coming as an opposing coach. But they have a stretch in the middle of their season, just like Alabama, a 4-game stretch that's at Tennessee, at Georgia, home against LSU, and then on the road again. I'm trying to remember who the
at Ole Miss.
Oh, that's right. So I mean, that's pretty rigid too. But I do like what Golesh has done at South Florida. Your guys' mom, of course, Kathy, is a proud South Florida graduate. I don't go Bulls, but. What's your guys' thoughts on Auburn going into the year? That it can't be much worse than the Hugh Freeze administration.
I think we're kind of on the same page with Alabama. I mean, there's millions of dollars in the betting market at this point, and Alabama's over/under is 8.5. I think that's about right. I think 8-4, 9-3 is most likely landing spot. You could see them get to 10-2. You could even see it be a disaster and be 7-5. But Auburn's on the other side, a team that you could convince me just about anything that they're not going to be bowl eligible again, that they're going to be amazing because of all these guys they brought over with South Florida. And I do think that stretch in the middle of the season is going to be a big question in determining that. That's a tall task, but you probably do have the guy at quarterback in Byron Brown, who, I know I'm getting hung up on the perceptions, but it's this time, or maybe like 11 months ago at the start of last season. I mean, people were talking about him for Heisman. South Florida was the favorite to get the Group of 5 college football playoff. Then they had a few bad games, and all of a sudden I feel like the shine is kind of off of him, at least nationally. I haven't even heard as much buzz for him out of the Group of 5 quarterbacks moving up, especially compared to like Drew Mestemaker or someone. So I'm really high on their quarterback. I like the continuity that Golesh was able to have with a lot of his coaching staff, bringing a lot of guys from South Florida back. So this is the first time in a long time. I think I'm a little higher than consensus on both Alabama teams. However, I could see it going south for Auburn too. I just think there's a lot of ways it can go this year.
Wait, you probably don't pull for Auburn if there's even one engine out on the team plane, but what's your general perception of Auburn going into the season?
I have no idea. I mean, I've read a couple of things. I hear Case talk. I mean, I have no clue. Unfortunately, I have a bad feeling. For me, good for Auburn that they're going to be significantly better than they have been the last couple of years. Myself, I was a huge fan of Hugh Freeze. Even though he was kind of a pain for Alabama to get through, but yeah, I have no read on Auburn because again, I don't follow this much during the off season, so I need to see what happens on the field.
Well, just for a full disclosure, folks, Clayton still has a Keep Chiswick T-shirt in his closet that he got a few years back when Coach Chiswick was unceremoniously dumped just 2 years after winning a national championship. I'm not sure how much time we've got left, but any other general thoughts for you guys with football season getting ready to kick off? Clayton, I know probably on the Auburn-Alabama subject, probably two of the worst sports experiences you had was the game that in Tuscaloosa where Alabama was on the verge of going up 31-0, and Cam Newton brought Auburn back to win that game with much to your dismay as the temperature dropped 30 degrees and you got sick after the game, and that was lingering. And also, I know the kick six at Jordan-Hare, another one of your famous moments of absolute despair. So the Iron Bowl's still a big deal for you, I know.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I can't stand Auburn. Luckily for me, I was not at the kick six. I was invited by multiple people to go, or like, hey, we should go, and I was like, no, I'm not going. I'm just gonna watch on TV. So thank goodness for that. I know it's like maybe one of the biggest moments in college football history. I'm glad I wasn't there. But honestly, the worst thing about the kick six is I got like text messages from you and all my family and everyone asking me if I was okay. I was like, well, do you know me? What do you think? Like a football game is gonna make me jump off the balcony? What is this? Yeah, but the comeback was pretty bad to witness in person. I mean, within like, I don't even know, 10, 15 yards of Philip Lutzenkirchen, rest in peace, when he scored the game, taking the lead touchdown, the tying touchdown, whichever one it was. He scored a big touchdown and celebrated right in front of me, basically. And that was not my favorite experience, to say the least.
Case, the kick six game, running back a field goal that came up short after Saban lobbied like crazy and intimidated the officials into putting an extra second on the clock. In all of your time watching football, because I think it ranks right up there with me, but that was maybe the most surprising, bizarre ending I can ever remember.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those games. There's only a few of them where you remember where you were and what was going on. I was in the media room at a UFC fight of all things, and just everyone started exploding. And I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" It was on a little TV in the corner. So yeah, that was absolutely wild. And I don't remember for sure, but I think Alabama was something like a 10-point favorite in that game. 10-point favorite again this year on the preseason line against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. So
great.
I guess we're getting pretty close to the time we had allotted. So I want to thank both you guys. This has been a lot of fun for me to have my two Keefer experts and have the three keys in one place at one time. And we are getting ready for college football. And I can tell you that the line on the Keefers enjoying the college football season, it's a slam dunk. We're going to like every moment of it as it comes up. Case, Clayton, thank you so much for being part of the festivities today on our extended segment on Alabama and Auburn on the starting lineup. Thank you for tuning in this week and watching the starting lineup. Thanks to Case and Clayton and Tony Curry. We'll see you next Saturday right here on ABC 3340.